So this is happening all over New York. And it happens in Manhattan. It's become fashionable to dress like a terrorist. So this woman, Scooter Castor in New York, people should really subscribe to her site. This is Freedom News. This is amazing stuff. This is not fake. New York is completely breaking down. I'm not a big mainstream media consumer, but I do not see news covering this stuff like the reality of what you see here, which is not inconsequential. This is a large number of people. I've been in Israel. I've spent a fair amount of time in Israel. I've seen Palestinian uprisings in the West Bank. Directly, I was at one. This is worse than what I've seen on the ground there. But it's the same tactics, exactly the same tactics. And that was it was in the 1990s, early 1990s. So what you're seeing here is a police force that is already neutered by conflicts domestically, if you will, between white officers and black Americans. And I'm not going to comment on the merits of any of those cases other than to say you've destroyed policing in the United States of America. And I'm not reflexively, everything a cop does is correct. My history would bear that out. But I believe that your society breaks down without a ethical, respected police force. And I also believe most officers go into it to be just that. But most of these people that you see in these images who are protesting are holding the Democratic Party hostage, as well as literally holding people hostage in Gaza. Politically, by doing this stuff, they're holding the Democratic Party hostage. And politicians in the Democratic Party are making a choice, for the most part, to capitulate to this by not decisively repudiating it. So I think what you're seeing on the streets of New York right now is going to destroy the Democratic Party in the Northeast. You've got, in New York State, 1.2 million adult Jewish people. In New Jersey, you have 442,000 adult Jewish people. What's going on in the world right now, in Israel right now, is going to result in Jews becoming even more active than their already hyperly active political engagement as voters. So the Democratic Party is the most popular party among Jews, with Jewish adults 65% identifying or leaning toward Democrats. About 1 in 3 Jews identifies or leans Republican, 29%. The problem the Democratic Party is about to have in New York and New Jersey, and I'll just stick to that, is the bulk of Jews are Democrats. You go back to 1.2 million of them, 442,000 of them, and then you look at the numbers politically in the last 2 races of consequence in New York and in New Jersey. In New Jersey, in 2021, Phil Murphy, the incumbent governor now, Democrat, faced off against a candidate named Jack Ciattarelli, who almost beat him. Jack Ciattarelli, the Republican, lost by 84,286 votes. 48% of the vote he got. Phil Murphy got 51.2. 84,286 votes. In New Jersey, you have 442,000 Jews, of adult Jews, eligible to vote if they don't vote. So let's just assume they're active voters at this point, given the way the world is treating Jewish people on the national stage, on the global stage. 84,000. So that means that Jack Ciattarelli would have to, if he converts 45,000 votes, about 10% of the number inside the Jewish vote in New Jersey, Jack Ciattarelli wins the election in New Jersey in 2021. And Jack Ciattarelli is running again in 2025, and Phil Murphy cannot run. In New York, Kathy Hochul beat Lee Zeldin by 377,834 votes, a little under 6%. Not a disaster, but I believe Andrew Cuomo got, close to 60% the last time he ran. She way underperformed him. And in this situation, I think the Jewish impact is even greater. In New York, if 65% of those 1.2 million identify as Democrats, that's 780,000 voters are Democratic Jews. To have turned that around, the 377,834 vote loss, Lee Zeldin would have had to turn around 188,917 votes to break even, and about 200,000 votes to win the election. And when it's safely 250,000 votes. If you've got 780,000 Jewish Democrats in New York, probably more, 800,000, and you're seeing this insanity going on the streets of New York, all over the place in the city of New York, where most of them live, you can't assume you're not going to lose hundreds of thousands of votes in the next election. And here's why. Kathy Hochul controls the National Guard. The New York City Police Department, NYPD, has been handicapped, neutered. They literally will not take the risk of doing something. And there's another reason. Even if the NYPD, in its undermanned capacity, wanted to engage these larger and larger groups of people taking over the streets of New York, shutting down bridges, terrorizing businesses. If the NYPD wanted to confront that directly, that means they have to be willing to meet that with some form of force. They don't have the manpower for it. And that's not just a problem here. It's a problem in London as well. The police are taking similar tactics because they don't have the manpower to confront these mobs. Now, in New York, I don't know what's going on in New Jersey, but in New York, the governor controls the National Guard. She hasn't engaged them. She's done nothing except take a trip to Israel and imply she had something to do with the release of hostages, which of course she did not. But meanwhile, she is the executive of the state. She controls the National Guard. She's done nothing. So these 1.2 million adult Jews in New York State, of which 800,000 are Democrats, a lot of them are going to leave the Democratic Party. More than 200,000 of them, in my opinion. And you're going to see the same thing happen in New Jersey with less impact, but they're watching what's going on in New York. Their friends are in, these are neighboring states. This issue is going to destroy the Democratic Party in both New York and New Jersey. Not in Senate races, not in congressional races, not in legislative races where people are concerned about abortion and social issues and gun control, whatever. It's going to destroy the Democratic Party in executive positions, including the presidency, because this is a border issue as well. There's a major border issue as well. All of these things feeding together. Democratic Party's done.